Hello, today I'm going to do a tutorial on downloading, installing and setting up GeoMaps. Before we continue downloading anything, there are a few things that we require to know. First of all, the Mines Department gives us two versions of GeoMaps, a 32-bit system and a 64-bit system. Once you know the operating system of your computer, you can download the relevant operating system GeoMaps. Secondly, when you're downloading the maps from the Mines Department, they are set up in zones. To explain the way zones work, I shall open this map that I made earlier. Here you see WA. I put a dividing line right down the centre. Anything to the right is zone 51, anything to the left is zone 50. Zone 50 includes Perth, Mount Magnet, Kew, Meekatharra, etc. Zone 51 includes Kalgoorlie, Esperance, Leonora and anywhere north of that. When setting up GeoMaps, you set up projects. There must be a different project for each zone. Let's say you are in Kalgoorlie on a Zone 51 map and you decide to pop over to Mount Magnet. You have to close the Zone 51 project and open the Zone 50 project, otherwise all the mapping software will be out of whack and you'll probably find out that you are not on the right tenement, or maybe quite a few kilometers away from it. I'll explain more about the zones when I download the tenants information to make it a little bit easier for you as you go. But yeah, once you get the gist of it and you've done it a couple of times, it's going to be quite easy. I'll just close this. Now the next thing before you download anything from the Mines Department, it's usually going to download to your download folder in a zip file. Once you get that zip file, you open it and extract I should say, the information to a particular folder on your computer. I usually like to keep mine on my desktop in a folder called GeoMap files. That's where all the working files for GeoMaps are stored. I'll just open this. Now many different people, I usually like to keep my maps in one folder, mineral deposits in another folder, Mindex, and tenements in a different folder. Once I extract the zip file, I shall copy it into these folders. Like tenements there is empty at the moment. Mindex is empty. Maps, because they're so large, I've actually pre-done them for you because it would take the tutorial quite a long time. You've got Zone 50. That's your maps. Now also you can download Geological Maps in Zone 50s as well. That's where they will be stored. And you've got a Zone 50 folder for normal roads and tracks. The map shows roads and tracks, and you can also make a new folder called Zone 51. I'll call it Geo. That's all the geological maps will be downloaded to. It's best to keep them all separated so they're easier to find. As I was saying, I like to keep mine on the desktop. Different people will store them somewhere else on their computer, which is fine, no problem there whatsoever. But you must put them in that location before you start entering the data into GeoMaps. Otherwise you are actually moving the files, and when you open GeoMaps it cannot find them because it's looking in this folder here but it's somewhere else on your computer. Okay, now let's get ready to download some files. Let's now go to the Mines Department. I've already opened it here. This should be the home page of the Mines Department. The page that we're looking for is the data software systems software. It's not on the home page here, it'll be on the online systems, it's still not here, it usually comes under the View More tab. Is it Data and Software Center? This is the one where all the information you require is. I'll just give a couple of seconds for this to load up. It's not the fastest website in the world, and it has recently been updated. I'm used to the old system, so bear with me if I make a few little wrong turns here and finding the files that I want, but I've already roughly gone through where they are. The first thing we need to do now is download the relevant GeoMaps software. This is the client. This is stored under Resources. You'll see here GeoMaps. Open this tab. I'll just scroll down a little bit. Here we have the 32-bit and 64-bit operating systems. Now I am running a 64-bit operating system, so this is the one that I shall choose. And I'll go download. I think I've already downloaded it, but right. Now she's now downloading to my download folder. I'll just give it a couple of secs and then I shall open that one. While that's downloading, I'll just go through a few other things here now. I'll just close this tab, make it a little bit easier to see. Right, the maps that we are going to require are in the statewide database here. This is the topographic maps. These shows all the tracks, roads and things like that. The one above it are the geological maps. That just shows geological areas. You can download both of them, no problem whatsoever. Now the one I am going to go for now, I'm going to do zone 50 and 51 in this tutorial. So here are all the maps. These are the topographic maps. The one we are interested in here is Perth, zone 50. You highlight that one and you download and save. Just have a quick look. Yeah, that one is actually downloading and saving. Now we've got the maps. I've already done Kalgoorlie, which is exactly the same set. That's a zone 51, so I don't need to do that in this tutorial. I'll bring it in a little while. Tenements. This is all the information, the basic tenements. We want the current live and pending. Click on this one, and we need the shape file. Download that one. You can usually do all your downloading at once. Close tenements, live and pending. The next one is mineral information, Mindex. It is Mindex. Click on that one. I say the shape file, download. Okay, that's everything we need to download at the moment. I'll just check here, they're all downloading nicely. Tenements has already come through, and the topographic maps take a little bit longer, but I've already downloaded them, so there's no problem there whatsoever. Okay, now I'm going to now go to my download folder. I'll just open this to get to open and containing folder. Here you will see the GeoMaps software that I downloaded. It is in a zip file, so I shall just click it. Different people have different zip programs. I don't have one. All I have to do now is I've opened it. I just highlight them all, copy, and what I shall do then is just go back to my desktop, and I've made a folder here for this tutorial, GeoMap Geo install. I open that, I right mouse click and paste the software that I have just downloaded. It will not install from the zip file, so you have to extract it to a specific folder. Now I can run setup. Finish. It says I already have GeoMaps installed, but I'm just doing a nice clean installation, so that one is sorted there. So now I have finished with this folder, but I'll leave it there at the moment. Next thing that I need to do is, I think I've already done it for you, exactly the same as that. I need to open the tenement zip that I downloaded and the maps. I downloaded the maps on zone 50. See, perf here is empty. So what I shall do now is go back to my downloads folder, perf topographic, open and containing folder. Here's my topographic map of perf. Click on the zip file, highlight them, copy. I say sorry for jumping around the screen a little bit. I shall try and do it the best I can. Now I've got the perf 50 maps here, so zone 50, I'll go to the perf folder and paste. Okay, now the files have been unzipped and put in their relevant folders in the GeoMap files. I am ready to open a GeoMaps interface. I shall go here to my start and look for GeoMaps. GeoMaps WA. There it is. Okay, this is the GeoMaps interface. Before we can install any maps or tenement information, we must set up this interface to accept the zone that we want to use it for. To do that, we go to Projects, Project Properties. You've got a list of menu here. Since I'm doing zone 50 at the moment, which is perf area, I'm just going to call this zone 50. Okay, the next choice you've got here is coordinate system type. They're going to go projected coordinate systems. Below that one brings up another menu. And we scroll, we've got a zone 50 there, but that's a different kind of zone. So we scroll near the bottom. We need the GDA 94 MGA zone 50. So we select that one. This is the menu that we've got here, and press OK. Now the interface is ready to access the information that you have downloaded and put into a specific folder on your computer. I'll go to Add Data, and it's going to want to know where you put the information. Now I put mine on my desktop. Desktop, and I'm going to find that GeoMaps information folder there. This one, GeoMaps files. First thing I want to do is find the perf zone 50 map, which is in here, zone 50, perf, and that's the file that we require. Click on that one. It'll ask you here, all data sets, just go OK. What this has done now is loaded up the zone 50 map. I can scroll in and see. I'll try not to be too erratic with the mouse. You see perf, and this one will all just go up just south of Q. Right, now I shall just zoom out a little bit. Okay, so we've got the basic map on that we'll require. Now if you're going north of Q, you will have to add another zone 50 map, which will be a Mikafara map that I've already previously downloaded. So I go add data, go to zone 50, Mikafara, also take. All that does, if I bring it here to this, it's just added more map. Every time you want to go higher, you just add another map. Just to make things a little bit better, next thing that we require to do is install tenements to see where we are actually going. So again, just like we added the maps, got to add data, go to the desktop, the GeoMap files. We're going to look for the tenement folder where we downloaded and unzipped the tenement information, and you see the shape file that we downloaded. Highlight that one and press OK. It's just asking you to make sure that you're on the GDA zone 50, which we are, and press OK. Now, as you can see, the tenements have gone actually underneath the map. It's because the actual arrangement here, you move the layers up, like this one here we can bring down. Alright, so the layers are all on top. I'll turn Mikafara off so we don't need to go there. We've just got to make sure these are in the right order, so one layer is not hiding another layer. You can turn the topo map off and turn it back on. As long as these are in the right order, you can drag one, you can move them around and things like that. Okay, now we've got lots and lots and lots of tenements here. I'll just zoom in slightly. What we've got to do now is differentiate between live and pending. Now these all green are live and pending, but this procedure that I'm going to do now, you do every time you add some data or anything to your GeoMaps. You go to the tenements section here, highlight it, right mouse click, layer properties. Hopefully you can actually see this interface that's come up. I'm going to go to symbology, unique values. Right, we always work from top to bottom. Tenement ID, we want tenement status. There's a menu here. You may not be able to see it on this tutorial, but we need to come to tenement status. Highlight that. Alright, work from top to bottom. Add and remove. Now, you can highlight these. I'll do pending first. Apply. Close. Now you see pending has come up here. From top to bottom we're going to go here. I'm going to make the tenement blue. Solid fill. Top to bottom. Do not display others. All I want to see is pending. I don't want to see others, so uncheck that one and bring this little thing here down so we can actually see the tracks underneath, the transparency, and apply. Now what we see, we can only see pending tenements. Now you can add the two and just add different colours, but I like, and it's usually better to have live and pending on different layers. So I'm now going to make a live tenement. So I'll go to same again here, add data. Tenements is already highlighted. Click that one. OK. And you see here now it's a slightly different blue. All I have to do is highlight that one, right mouse click, layer properties. Exactly the same as we did with pending. Go to symbology, unique values, put the top tab on tenement status, add and remove, and just put a check in the live. Apply, close. Before we apply it here on the second screen, we want to change the colour of the live. I usually have it as green, so I'll change this from the drop down menu to green. OK, do not display others. I'll put the transparency so I can see the tracks underneath it, and apply. As you can see here now, we've got green, which are live tenements, and we've got blue, which are pending. The way I do it this way is sometimes you get tenements on top of each other. They usually show up as a slightly different shade, but it's easy sometimes just to turn one tenement off, just to make sure there's not a live tenement underneath it. That's the most important thing, that you are not on a live tenement. Okay, now we've got the basic setup ready. Okay, now that we've got the live and pending tenements highlighted on separate layers, so we can turn one off and see what's underneath it, we need to put on the tenement IDs. That's the tenement numbers. The way we usually do that, exactly the same. I'll go to the I'll use it on the pending tenement here. Right mouse click. Now you can't see this drop down menu on this tutorial for some reason, I don't know why it is, but there's a tab here called layer properties, just like we did before. Last time we used symbology, this time we're going to go to labels. Label features in this layer. I'm going to leave this on tenement ID. I'm just going to change the fonts. On some tablets and laptops, the actual fonts are very, very small, so you can't actually see the tenement number. So I'm just going to bring it up to say 12, bold 12. Okay, apply, and as you can see now, all these tenements have actually got their tenement ID number. Now if you turn this tenement off, of course the tenement IDs disappear as well, if you're just showing a live. So what you can actually do is go back to the live tenements, exactly the same, highlight it, right mouse click, layer properties, labels, and do exactly the same thing. Put it in bold 12. OK, apply. So it doesn't really matter which tenement you turn on, you'll always have the tenement ID number. Right, next thing we now need to do is find out where the gold is. This is adding the Mindex data. Exactly the same as the tenements. Go to add data, go to GeoMap files. I say this is why it's usually important to have all your files in separate folders in the GeoMap files folder on your desktop. You see the Mindex, and click on the Mindex shapefile. It wants to confirm everything, just go OK, and as you can see, lots of little dots have shown up. Now if you put the tenants on, I was saying before about the actual way these layers are, grab this one and drag it up, or drag one down. You've got to get these layers in the right order. So whatever's on, the gold is actually on the top layer. A little bit confusing, but you get used to after doing it once or twice, because once you turn a map on and everything one map layer covers the other, you can't see what's underneath it. Okay, so everything now is like a purple colour, exactly the same as before. Right mouse click, layer properties, symbology, unique values. This is on the Mindex tab. This time, instead of tenement status, we are going to go to target commodity on this drop down menu. You can't see it on this video, but there's target commodity. Now we're going to go add and remove. There's a big list come up here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Go down it until you find gold. Put a little check mark in gold, apply and close. Gold's come up here. Now we're going to change the colour of this to yellow. So there's another drop down menu here. I'm going to choose yellow. OK. We don't want to see anything else other than gold unless we're looking for diamonds. So I'm going to uncheck display others. You don't need to bother with the transparency, just apply. Now as you can see here, I try not to be too erratic with this mouse. The little gold spots turn up. These are all live, abandoned, disused mine sites where gold has been found. You can turn it on off at will. And that has got that bit sorted. So now we've got tenements live pending. We've got our Geo-Maps. What I'm going to do next is, if I turn my topographic maps up, including Mikafara, it's just blank with all the tenements on with the outline. You see the outline of WF will really zoom out. What I'm going to do now is, I think I've got one here for zone 50. I'm going to add a geological map. Same thing as adding everything else. Add data, go to maps, zone 50. I've got here a Perth, which is zone 50 geo. Click on that, go OK. That's brought a geological map up. You see all the bluestone and everything like that. I'll just put it on zoom. Of course, perfectly geological there. It actually comes up the same name as the topo map. So what you can actually do here is just change the name of it to Geo. Oops. Apply. So you see in your layers you've got your topo map, which shows all the tracks, and you've got a geological map. If you put the topo map on, it actually, the layer goes on top of the other. I can turn that one off and turn this one back on. My computer's run a little bit slow with the recording of all this, and GeoMaps has got everything on, so it really slows your computer down. So you have to bear with me slightly. Right, that's how you add a geological map. I'll put my topographic map back on. Now, with it being a PC, you have a GPS dongle or the GPS receiver that plugs into your USB port. To actually set that one up, I've not got mine here with me at the moment, but the tracking, see GPS tracking here, click that one, and here's where you set up your GPS receiver. Once you plug it in, it will be, it'll go to communication port. Once you plug your GPS receiver into your USB port, it will actually be assigned a communication, a COM port number. It could be anything from COM port 1 to COM port 10, depends which USB socket you put on, you plug it into. Your baud rate usually about 4800. Parity none. You can auto pan symbol, so you know where you can change it here. GPS port detected, and go OK. To actually, once it's installed, you can connect to a GPS unit. Here I've clicked to it and it say no GPS has been found, because I've not actually got my GPS plugged in at the moment. Once it says connected successfully, you go to GPS tracking and this auto pan 5 highlights. Click on that and it'll actually bring up your GPS location. If I was to do that at the moment, it would show exactly where I live, so that's a good thing. Okay, hopefully this is the basics of getting the setup from installing and downloading files. Now the next thing, this is a zone 50. What you've got to do now before you close this, if you close this and do not save the file, when you turn it back on you'll have to start all over again and insert all this data. So before, when you've completed this lot here, just turn this off, just turn the Mindex off. You have now got to save project. Now you go to project, save as. Right, now I'm going to save this to my desktop. Zone 50, it's going to save to zone 50 and save. Right, now it's been saved, so I can close it. So what's new? Instead of now having to go into here and find GeoMaps, it's on my desktop. Zone 50. All I have to do is click on that, and it will bring you back to exactly where you was before on GeoMaps. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly set up a zone 51 project. I'll just close that. Now instead of clicking on this one here, because that's zone 50, I'm just going to go back here to my main menu, look for GeoMaps in here again, GeoMaps WA, and start up a completely new blank interface. I'll just quickly go through it because I've been through it with you before. This one, project properties. This time I'm going to name this one zone 51. Projected coordinate type. This time on this menu, when we come down to the bottom of the screen, we are going to choose near the bottom GDA 94 zone 51. Okay, now this interface is ready to accept zone 51 maps. So now I can go and find my zone 51 maps in my data file. So add data, go to my GeoMap files, go to maps, zone 51. I'd used zone 50 before, this is zone 51, and I'll find the Kalgoorlie map there. Click that one, it just asks. Now we are a totally different zone. All you have to do now is keep adding your data now like we did before. Go back to your map, your zone maps, GeoMap files, add tenements. You set it up exactly as it was before. You've got to go through all unique symbologies to separate all these and everything. Now once you get this one sorted out, what you've got to do now is project save as, exactly the same as you did with the zone 50. Alright, now I'm going to save it to my desktop. Zone 51, save. So now I can close it. Now I've got two highlighted. If I'm in Kalgoorlie, I just use this one, click on this, and it'll open it up. But it's just that it's a zone 51 ratio now. Whenever you close it from here on, always save your changes. Anyway, hopefully It's very complicated to explain and do a live video, but quickly I'll just run back now to the data software center here. There's so many different files, like I downloaded the Mindex before and stuff like that here. Close that one. Tenements, it's so many different kinds of geological maps. You can download anything you want, but you must keep track of where you're actually storing them. It makes it so much easier. Ooh, one thing I actually want to show you. Let's see if I can do it on here. And if one final thing while I am on the Kalgoorlie Zone 51 map. If there's certain tenements that you've got tenement IDs and permission to go on, and you only want to see those, so when you're traveling around on your GPS, you know if you've actually stepped out of them bounds, we can set that up so you can only see those particular tenements and you know exactly where you are. To do that, you're just going to go add data, go to tenements, okay. Right, here again you've got millions of thingy tenements all mixed up. Again, go to the tenement, right mouse click, layer properties, symbology, unique values. This time in the top tab here, you're going to go down the screen near the bottom to something called FMT stroke 10 ID. So it's Foxtrot Mike Tango space tenement ID. Select that one there, add and remove, and this list comes up here. What you can actually do now is insert the tenements that you've permission to go on. Everything is in capitals, so you put a P space, I've got some tenements here, 16 stroke 0 5 4 2. Now I put that in, but you see it's not gone select here, because usually anything with a 0 and you just miss that 0 out. Oops, yeah, it's not a P this one, it's an M. Silly me. Right, okay, so it's a M16 stroke 542 and you go select. Now that one's selected and you've got an unselect. Now we're going to add the next tenement. It might be a tenement next to it. This one is a prospecting lease, so I'll put a P. It's 16 2902. So 2902. It's got select. And one final one. It's also a prospecting lease, which is changes to 24, and I can put 4865, 4865. Select, apply. These are the 3 tenements you're allowed to go on. There he is. They're there, and they're all listed in different colours. Now I'm not bothered about the others, so I'll undisplay others, and I'll put slightly bit of transparency on them and apply. What that's done now is it's just highlighted the specific tenements that you're allowed to go on. So if you drift out of here on your GPS, like you drift over here somewhere, you know you're off tenement. So this is the only areas that you can go on, the 3 colours, and you can actually see which colour is which tenement ID. Like also I'll put on here a quick one, labels, show labels, tenement fonts, bold, apply, OK. So these 3 tenements here, you've got the like a greenish, a brown and a yellow one up there. if you've got 10 of them around here, it's just so you actually know what tenements without all the clutter. You just add your mine decks, add data. I'll just show you how quick it is to add mine decks. Okay, mine decks are grey, layer properties, unique, target commodity, add. I'm going to go down here to gold, apply, close, don't display others, change gold to yellow. I'm going very quick because I've already been through this with you, and you can play it back. It's just really just to show you how quick it can actually be done. There, we've got three mines on this one, nothing on that one, and nothing on that one. Without all the clutter. Of course, if you wanted to go off here into pending, it's just again add another tenement. Go to Geo-Map. Okay. Same again with this one. It's always this layer properties and symbology. Tenant status, pending, pending, apply, close. Going a bit too quick with my mouse here. Not interested in others. Let's see if there's any pending leases. Well, pending bright yellow. I usually change it. See, if you want to change the colour again, you just go back into change that to blue. Excuse me. Well, so you've got some pending tenements that you can go on as well. I'll say this has already been saved as a zone 51, so all you have to do now is close that one, save changes, otherwise then pending leases you put on will disappear on all those specific ones, so always save your changes when you leave GeoMaps. Well, thanks, and I hope this has gone okay. Tried to keep my mouse from being too erratic and try and go slow and explain everything the best I can. Very quick to learn, so yeah, thanks very much, and I'll catch you in the goldfields.